postdoc here at the University of Calgary Cummings School of Medicine. So I came to Canada as a temporary foreign worker, with my family joining me later to create a better life for them. That has always been my goal. And so, of course, since I completed school, my ideology from training has always been that finish school, finish well, get a job, apply, write, application letters, get a job, make somebody your boss, get paid, and then feed your family, and then try to create something for them. I have tried doing that since I finished school, and I came to the point to realize that this is not working. It's like you have been deceived. I mean, it might have worked for some people, but not for others. And I'm one of those people that it seems not to be working for. So all the time, I'm kind of like in a state of stress when my contract is getting to an end. What do I do to get a renewal, or what do I do to get a new contract or something better? And that alone is a source of stress for me. So I've actually been looking for alternative ways to create a better financial base for myself and then improve the fortunes of my family and then my children. So I have been into other businesses in the past, especially back home, and they failed very woefully. So I flopped many times, and some of them included scam. So with that kind of background, when the team, my SMD, Martha and Gertrude, visited my home, and they started talking about business, and then it got to the point of, they talked about investment, they talked about insurance. I kind of like looked for an invisible kind of padlock, a heavy padlock, and locked up my brain completely. As I mentioned, my experience has been kind of bad. So I didn't want to have anything at all to do with anything that has to do with business or money. And I have been warned when I came to Canada earlier that there are a lot of scammers in the system, and they can scam you of all kinds of your monies and other stuff. So when I just saw it, I was like, this might be an example of what somebody wants me about. So I shut my mind completely, and I didn't want to have anything at all to do with them. So eventually, the issue of lunch came in Edmonton, and they said, okay, if you are so doubtful and you are not sure of what message we are trying to sell to you, come to the event. There is a big event happening in Edmonton on the 14th. So my wife decided that would be a Valentine's present she will offer to me, she will give me. That's kind of an unusual Valentine gift she gave to me. So I accepted it with doubt, because that was very unusual of a Valentine gift. And of course, it's a gift that I'm going to an event without her. She stayed back at home, taking care of the kid, and I had to go with Martha, Gertrude, and other team members. So, but I wasn't sure what was happening. My spirit wasn't there. My spirit was home, and my physical body was traveling to Edmonton, because I wasn't just interested. So when I got to Edmonton, the following morning, they said, okay, we're supposed to wake up early and get to the venue. I was like, what are you guys talking about? We're supposed to go there at 8 o'clock. I need to sleep. I was like, no, we need to get there early, and if you like, you can volunteer. I said, volunteer? Volunteer to do something I have no idea about. How? But we went anyway. I decided to join them, and we went. It's like, I'm already here anyway, so let me take a shot. So we got there. I decided to volunteer. But the first thing that struck me when we got to the venue, as early as we had arrived, was the number of people we saw queuing, waiting to get into the room. I asked myself, how? Did these people sleep here? I was like, no, they all came from other places. Some of them lodged in hotels. They took Uber to come here. I was like, what? So that was the first surprise I met. What exactly is it about this event that has brought people here this early to queue and waiting for everybody? The entry time is around 7:30, 8 o'clock. By 5, people were already there. A whole lot of crowd. So that was my first shock of the event. So I became more curious, and that was the motivation for me to actually volunteer, because I wanted to get to meet many people as much as possible, interact with them, and get the opportunity to be in the front row, to hear all the things that I needed to hear without having to ask Martha and Gertrude. So when that happened, and people started, sharing their stories and sharing where they started from, their previous situations and then their current situation, and how they have overcome debt, how they have been able to save, proper family protection, emergency funds. My whole mind was blown. I started asking my colleagues, these monies they are quoting, are they real monies, or can they really access it? Is it something that comes into their account? Is it money they can spend? Those were the basic questions. Like, yes, we can withdraw the money anytime you want it. They pay you anytime you want it. And I was like, okay, if this is the source, this is what is bringing this kind of money to all these people, and you see the number of people who are gathered here this early morning, then there certainly must be something very valuable that I really had no idea about. And gathering in Edmonton alone with about over 2,000 people was not just the only gathering. I was made to understand that it was all over Canada because other teams joined on Zoom. And there was a team also from the United States. I was like, this is global. So if something like this is happening across Canada and in the US, there has never been a gathering in these kinds of environment without the security getting to know about it. So there can be nothing illegal about it. If there is something illegal about it, it cannot be this heavy. It can't be this magnanimous and global. So I am joining this thing now, and whatever it is, let's get to find out what the issue is. So long story short, the event at lunch was kind of like, those of you who are familiar with IT, when you plug your pen drive in the computer and you click on format, kind of like erasing everything in the drive, the storage drive. That was exactly what happened to me at Edmonton. It was like a kind of strong light they had shined on my mind and broke up that padlock by the event itself. I didn't open the padlock. It was struck out completely and got my whole mind and psychology overturned, overhauled completely. So I got myself fired up and started talking to people like crazy and writing down list of people I wanted to get in touch with as soon as I got back home. And that was what I did. So if I hadn't gone to that event, just like Uno had shared, it took about 6 years to get back one of his clients. Maybe I would have been an example of that. I am sure it would have taken more than years for Gertrude and Master to convince me if I hadn't been to Edmonton. So as Chineku rightly said, some of those events are events that you really don't want to miss if you have the opportunity, because they are really magnanimous and they are very instrumental in changing your whole psyche and showing you that things that people are passionate and trying to share with you are realistic and they are useful. Please take advantage of it if you have the opportunity. Thank you very much for giving me the time.
Awesome.